Hello, welcome back to anatomy classes. Today we are going to do with the osteology of vertebrae. So the vertebra which is present in my hand is a typical cervical vertebra. We are identified it as cervical vertebra because it has got foramen transverse cerium which is present in the transverse process. So by seeing this foramen we can identify it as a cervical vertebra. And the other feature is the bifid spine. It has got a bifid and short spine. So let's see the features of a typical cervical vertebra. We know there are 7 cervical vertebrae, and out of 7 cervical vertebra, the first one, second one and the 7th one are atypical cervical vertebrae, and 3rd to 6th are the typical cervical vertebra. So let's see the features of a typical cervical vertebra. So the 3rd to 6th share the common features, having a body. This is the body, and body superior surface is concave from side to side, which having projections on the either side, processes on the either side. And here is the inferior surface. The anterior border of the inferior surface projects down here, covering the intervertebral disc. So this is the inferior surface, this is the superior surface. And the transverse process has got foramen transverse cerium, and these two are the superior articulating processes bearing the 2 superior articulating facets. Superior articulating facets directed posteriorly, it is directed upwards and posteriorly. Inferior articulating facets are directed downwards and forwards, that is anteriorly. So these are the inferior articulating facets. These are the superior articulating facets. And we can see a large vertebral canal compared to the size of the body. The body is smaller and the vertebral canal is quite larger. So let's see the parts of the transverse process. Because of the presence of foramen transverse cerium, we can divide the transverse process into certain parts. So this is the foramen transverse cerium. So here is the foramen transverse cerium, and the transverse process is divided into anterior root, and the projection is called anterior tubercle, then costo-transverse bar, posterior root, posterior tubercle. So it has got the anterior root, this projection is called anterior tubercle, and posteriorly posterior root and posterior tubercle. The connection between these two, this part is called as costo-transverse bar. So among these parts of the transverse process, developmentally there are no ribs in the cervical vertebra. So the part which has to form the rib remains in the cervical vertebra as the costal element. So anterior root, then anterior tubercle, then costo-transverse bar and posterior root. All these structures forms the costal element, whereas the posterior root is the true transverse process, that is the transverse element is present in the posterior root, which is the actual transverse process of the cervical vertebra. Let's see some important attachments in the cervical vertebra. The anterior surface of the body gives attachment to anterior ligament, and the posterior surface of the body which is present within the vertebral canal, forming a part of vertebral canal, it gives attachment to posterior ligament. Cervical vertebra anterior surface also gives attachment to longus colli muscle. The 2 lamina, the right and left lamina, gives attachment to ligamentum flavum. And here is the bifid spine. So within the bifid spine, the ligamentum nuchae, which attaches to the external occipital protuberance from the skull down to the 7th cervical vertebra, spinous process of 7th cervical vertebra. So this ligament is lodged within the bifid spine. So these are some of the important attachments of. Let's see atypical cervical vertebra. It is identified by, this is C1, first cervical vertebra, which is called as atlas. The atlas is not having the body, so the body is absent for the atlas. And how to identify which is the superior surface of atlas, which is the inferior surface of atlas? Superior surface, if we see the facets, they are large bean-shaped facets. These large bean-shaped facets articulates with the large occipital condyles to form atlanto-occipital joint, which is a condylar joint. And inferior articulating facets, they are plain and they are flat and circular. So these are two are inferior articulating facets, these two are superior articulating facets. So this is the superior surface of first cervical vertebra or atlas. And foramen transversarium is present in the cervical vertebra. The structures passing through the foramen transversarium are vertebral artery, vertebral vein and sympathetic plexus. So the second part of vertebral artery is present in the foramen transversarium, and this vertebral foramen transversarium of upper 6 cervical vertebra. So the vertebral artery, vertebral vein and sympathetic plexus are present. So after crossing the atlas, the vertebral artery along with its vein arches here posterior to the articulating process, making a groove which is called as vertebral groove present over the superior surface. Next, the other feature which makes it atypical is absence of the spine. The spine is absent in the cervical vertebra. And here, instead of body, anteriorly there is a projection which is called as anterior tubercle, and posteriorly instead of spine there is a posterior tubercle. And there is a facet inside the anterior arch of the atlas, which is called as the facet for odontoid process or the dens. So this facet articulates with the second cervical vertebra to form atlanto-axial joint, which is a kind of pivot joint, articulates here. So these are the features to identify it as atlas, that is the first cervical. It is called atlas because in Greek mythology, Atlas is a person who holds the whole world. It is believed that Atlas is the person who holds the whole world in his hands. Here the atlas, the first vertebra, is holding the complete skull. That is the reason it is called as atlas. Let's see the second cervical vertebra. Here is the second cervical vertebra. It is easy to identify it as second because of its an extra projection which is called as dens or odontoid process. So this dens or odontoid process is actually the detached part of the body of first cervical vertebra. And here the superior articulating process are almost absent. The superior articulating facets are flat on the either side. These are the superior articulating facets. And where the dens is present, that is the superior surface. And these two small are the inferior articulating facets. And the spine is present here, which is bifid and thick spine. And transverse process contains foramen transversarium, which is hiding below the superior articulating facets process. So this is foramen transversarium. The tip of the odontoid process gives attachment to apical ligament of dens, which is the remnant of notochord. On the either side of the dens, alar ligaments are attached, and ligamentum flavum attached to the laminae all through the vertebra. And this odontoid process or dens articulates with the atlas. I will show how it articulates. It articulates with the atlas to form atlanto-axial joint. So here is the atlanto-axial joint, where the rotation of the head takes place. Let's see the last cervical vertebra, C7. The C7 identified by not having the bifid spine. Instead, it is having a spine which is very prominent end. So this is a horizontal spine with a prominent end. So this spine is called as vertebra prominens. So till the C6 we cannot count the vertebra in living humans, and the lower part of the neck we can palpate the most prominent spine. So from here the vertebrae are usually counted by the surgeons to do any surgery. So this is called vertebra prominence. And foramen transversarium is present even in C7, but it is smaller when compared to other foramen transversarium. When the most importantly, vertebral artery doesn't pass through C7 foramen transversarium. It passes from C6 onwards, that is the cervical vertebra, 6th cervical vertebra onwards. And rest of the features are almost the same, having a transverse process with a foramen transversarium. It almost looks like a thoracic vertebra. It is a transitional vertebra having little larger body, almost the size of the vertebral canal. So this is about the C7 vertebra prominence, and the tip of the spine gives attachment to ligamentum nuchae. So the ligamentum nuchae, after crossing the bifid spine, it comes down and attaches to the C7 spine. Thank you. I hope you all like this session and it would be useful for you all for your practical exams. And next session we are going to continue with the thoracic and lumbar vertebra. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell button for further notifications. Bye.